Ladies and gentlemen, this is about astrophysics and creation. This is the title of a book of mine that recently came out. It is a special book because I am a physicist, an astrophysicist, and the book is addressed to people who are familiar with the modern worldview. How do I talk about creation, about God, to a person who thinks like a physicist? Well, I have some opportunities among colleagues. If they ask me, or I only talk about this religion if I'm asked, or in public lectures or in panel discussions. But most of all, how do I talk myself about God? How do I think about God as a physicist? That's the point of this book. Now, in the past, science and religion has focused mostly on gaps. It starts with physics, it starts with the gaps in physics. But what is a gap in physics? That's a problem. Let me give you an example. In star formation is one of my fields. How do stars form? Well, they form in interstellar space, in molecular clouds. Here is a picture of the Herschel Space Observatory in the far infrared radiation. There are filaments here, and on these filaments there are blobs, white circles, that are star formation cores. Cores, molecular cloud cores that will develop into stars. Now these stars, these cores collapse when the pressure is low enough into disks, not stars. These are rotating disks because here the centrifugal force works against gravity. So it is a stable situation. They don't want to get further because the angular momentum, rotation, stops them from contracting. Well, it's ideal to produce planets, but how do you make stars? You have to get rid of this angular motion. And this, we think, is an explanation which is apparent in the next picture, that this angular momentum is carried out by outflows. This is an explanation based on physical laws, some chance motions, and explains it more or less. But is it true? Well, it needs to be confirmed. I think it's a relatively good explanation, but there are also other gaps or issues in physics which are not as good, like the Big Bang. Why is there a Big Bang? Well, there's a physical explanation to that. Why is the universe so finely tuned? There's an explanation. There's always an explanation. Some are good, some are bad. The bad ones are those on which we currently work. The physicists have to explain better, have to confirm these explanations, improve them, and every answer gives a lot of new questions. So, in physics we expect to find a physical answer. This is called physicalism, methodological physicalism. Gaps are the working fields, and it's a bad start of a dialogue with a physicist about religion, because these gaps, he will have his ideas, he will have his explanations, and he will not be convinced of any new idea, has little interest in discussing it at all. So if there is a talk about God, the physicist would ask immediately, what's the experience? Why do we talk about God at all? We don't need this hypothesis. Actually, it is not proven, it cannot be proven apparently, so why not forget about talking about God? Well, here my point comes in. There is more than physics in life. Look at this picture. I explain the perceptions of reality in, this is the white oval, in two domains. One is the red circle that is objectively measurable and observable. This is where you can do science. You have, by definition, to have a repeatable observation. You have an objective observation that can be repeated by other independent scientists. And there is a white oval, the rest of it, which is not objective, like art, like beauty. Beauty cannot be measured. Beauty, beautiful day, how do you measure that? Beauty is not objective, but still it's a reality. You experience this. Love is something that cannot be measured. Of course, it has something to do with hormones, and in your brain there are things. But if your wife asks you, do you love me? She doesn't expect a physical answer about your brain status, but she wants to have it confirmed by a feeling. She will feel that you love her. Love is an experience by feeling, by more than that. It's also the ambient atmosphere. There is a lot of smiles associated with it. Embodied cognition, one may call it, psychologists these days. So there is more than the objective, measurable things in your brain and your blood. Grief, well, who has experienced grief, but some loss in the family, know what grief is. It is certainly not objective, but it's very real. Art is some experience. You have to participate. You can neglect art. You can live without art. You can walk through a museum and not looking at the images. But if you are confronted with a picture, there is a kind of participation between the observer and the picture. That is about real, the picture is real, but the participation, of course, is subjective. I don't call this white domain the subjective perceptions, but the participatory perceptions, where you have to participate to experience it. It is not scientific. You cannot base your science on something that is not objective. So that's the limit of science given by this red circle. Religion is the same. Religious experiences are not objective. That's the experience we have today in our worldview, but there is a lot of religion experienced by people. Experiences in your life of experiencing the transcendence. You may just call it a spirituality. So these perceptions are participatory perceptions. They are perceptions in our life, more than physics, that are, I think, to be taken seriously. They are very common. They are not illusions, because it would make our life an illusion. To talk to a physicist about religion, you have to make clear that there is a world beyond science. There is an experience beyond science. These experiences are the base of anything we can talk about in religion. It's not metaphysics, it's not ontology, it's not complicated philosophy, it's experience in your life. So this is why my book is called Astrophysics and Creation, and the subtitle Perceiving the Universe Through Science and Participation. And my name is Arnold Benz. It's easy to find on Google because there are only 2 of them in the world. The other is a car. Thank you.